Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to fill a sketchbook page with lots of cute summer illustrations. For this I'm using my Hahnemühle watercolor sketchbook, which I actually haven't painted in for a few months. Lately I've been doing a lot of small watercolor studies in a different sketchbook. If you've been watching my shorts, you've probably seen some of them already. I've been painting things like fruits, vegetables and other little objects to practice color mixing and watercolor techniques. Working on those studies inspired me to come back to the sketchbook and create a page full of summer-themed illustrations. Lately I've been enjoying just sitting down with a sketchbook, some watercolors, and painting whatever comes to my mind or I see on my Pinterest feed. It's relaxing, it's good practice, and there is no pressure to make everything perfect. For this page I'm using my Rubens watercolor palette, which I really love. I also tried to plan things out a little bit before I started painting. Since some of these illustrations use similar colors, I grouped them together and switched back and forth while the paint was drying. That's why I'm starting with the lemons and the sun. They both use a lot of the same yellows, so while one illustration is drying, I can work on the other one instead of waiting around. It also makes the whole process a bit faster because I don't have to keep mixing complete different colors all the time. Since these illustrations are quite small, I decided to keep them fairly simple. I still built up the colors in a few layers, but I was going for a fun illustrated style instead of trying to make everything look super realistic. And of course I had to start with lemons. If we're painting summer themed illustrations, lemons are a must. As you guys probably know by now, I love painting lemons. I have a lot of videos of them on my channel. They always remind me of Italy and Sicily, where my family is from. While the lemons were drying, I jumped over to the sun. I really wanted to design a fun little sun for this page because, in my opinion, a summer themed page just isn't complete without one. I did run into a few problems with this illustration though. At one point I definitely overworked it a little bit, and you'll probably see what I mean in a moment, but don't worry, I managed to fix it in the end and just improvised my way through it. Sometimes I really need to learn when to stop messing with a painting, but that's okay. One thing I've learned is that in art there's almost always a solution if you stay calm and keep going. Over the last few weeks, I've really been teaching myself to slow down, stay calm, and enjoy the watercolor process. Honestly, it is like a small little therapy session for me. I love putting on some music while I paint, especially jazz or lo-fi. Sometimes I'll also listen to YouTube videos as well, as long as it's something that helps me stay focused and doesn't distract me too much. I get distracted very easily, so if I listen to regular songs, I start singing and moving too much around, and then drawing becomes like a secondary thing that I'm doing on the side while vibing to music. I would like to know what you guys prefer to listen to while drawing and painting, or do you have to work in complete silence? Next I moved on to this little fish. Just like the other illustrations, I wanted to keep it very simple. I started with a really watered down mix of Payne's Gray and Indigo, and then added a little bit of red mixed with white to create a soft color transition. After that I let everything dry before going back in with a few stronger details. Nothing too complicated. Sometimes the simplest illustrations end up being my favorites. By this point I was really getting into a good rhythm with the painting process. Grouping the illustrations by color turned out to be a great idea because there was always something I could work on while another section was drying. For the shells, I started by getting the base layers down first and then come back later to add all the details. And honestly, the seashells were probably my favorite part of the entire page. I just love painting them because there are so many different patterns and textures you can add. Every seashell can look completely different, which makes them really fun to design. For these I chose some neutral brown tones. In general, I kept the whole color palette fairly muted. I just really enjoy working with those kind of colors. And for a summer page, they create a nice warm feeling while still looking cohesive together. As you can see here, I kept everything very loose and sketchy. I wasn't following a specific reference for the fish. I just let my hand do the work and sketched the details with the watercolors. I really love this painterly style. It feels a lot more relaxed and expressive. And it's something I've been enjoying more and more lately. It took me a while to learn to simplify things, but once you get a hang of it, it's really the best feeling for painting. It gives you so much freedom and you can just paint without having to think about every little brush stroke you put on the paper. It's not something that comes overnight, I know that. It took me several years to learn this, but if you learn that you don't have to draw and paint every single detail there is in a reference picture, or of course if you're painting from real life, you will see that you're taking off the pressure off you, and this will make you paint and draw with an open mind and a freedom that you just can't have if you're fixating too much on having to copy every little thing that you see. And that's how you develop your style, when you're simplifying things and just be yourself while painting and have fun and just be free and enjoy the process. And yeah, just don't think too much about perfection and take off the pressure of having your painting have to look completely realistic or like other artists, for example. Just be you and try to simplify things as much as possible, even though sometimes it's scary in the beginning because you might think it might look way too simplistic or childish. That's how you really learn and develop your style, because style is not something that you have to force. Your style is already in you. Next, I started working on the ice cream, and honestly, the waffle cone is always the hardest part for me. Since I'm not going for a super realistic look on this page, I decided to keep it pretty simple. I painted the darker squares over the base layer first and then added a little bit of shading afterwards. It's always a bit tricky, but I actually really like how it turned out in the end. Here I started painting the strawberry ice cream. Over the last few weeks I've been spending a lot of time studying color theory and color mixing in another sketchbook, as I told you, especially with yellows, oranges and reds. But pink is a color I don't use very often, and while painting this ice cream I realized that I wasn't entirely sure how I wanted to mix the darker shades for the shadows. In the end, I think it turned out pretty cute, but learning how to mix and shade things more confidently is definitely something I want to practice in that sketchbook in the future, so stay tuned for some pink themed watercolor shorts on my channel. By this point, I had finally figured out how to fix the sun. I felt like I had overworked it a little earlier, but adding an outline with Van Dyke Brown brought everything back together. It gave the illustration a bit more contrast and that extra pop it was missing. Luckily, it ended up being a pretty easy fix. This little watermelon slice was so much fun to paint, and funny enough, I had actually painted a few watermelon slices in my other sketchbook right before starting this page, so it was even easier for me to paint this because I had practiced beforehand, even though this wasn't planned. It's actually a pretty simple subject to paint. I started with very light watery layers and dotted the color here and there and slowly built up the colors over time. For this one, I only used red, sap green, and Prussian blue to create both the darker greens and the deeper reds for the shadows. The watermelon seeds were added later with a mix of red and ivory black. Next up was the hibiscus, which ended up being the last illustration on the page. For this one, I worked in a few layers and slowly built up the color transitions. I started with a wet on wet technique, going from yellow to orange and then into red towards the center of the flower. I wanted the colors to stay nice and vibrant while keeping the transitions as smooth as possible, so after applying the paint I used a clean, slightly damp brush to gently blend the colors together. I also wanted to include some lettering on this page because it's been a while since I last did any, so I designed a simple title and wrote summer vibes in the center of the page. For the lettering, I used a mix of turquoise deep and sky blue. Since the page already had a lot of yellows, browns, reds and warm tones, I wanted a color that would stand out a little more and add some contrast without feeling out of place. I think this blue works really well with the rest of this page, and it also reminds me of the ocean, which fits the summer theme perfectly. To finish everything off, I added a few final details. I used a white jelly roll pen for the highlights in the fish's eye and on the watermelon seeds. I also outlined the lettering with a dark blue Pigma Micron pen to help stand out a little more against the rest of the page. Overall, I had a lot of fun working on this page. It was nice to slow down, experiment with different subjects, and just enjoy the painting process without worrying too much about perfection. I hope you enjoyed watching and maybe found some inspiration for your own sketchbook pages. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!